Hello, welcome to the Jacksonville History Show. I'm Emily Rutherford Lisska, Executive Director of the Jacksonville Historical Society. This is the show that celebrates and analyzes your Jacksonville history. And today it should be a lot of fun. We have our annual Historic Preservation Awards. We'll be taking a look at the organizations and the individuals who really keep history alive in Jacksonville, Florida, and are awarded for that annually. Lisa Sheppard will be here to guide us through those awards. And then just a little later, we'll have a representative of SPAR here, Eric Bergenet. And Eric will tell us about the SPAR Springfield Home Tour, an annual event that people really look forward to in Jacksonville. First, I want to welcome Lisa Sheppard. Hello.
Hi.
And Lisa, you are the Senior Historic Preservation Planner with the City of Jacksonville in the Planning and Development Department. And every year you work tirelessly, diligently to bring to the attention of the public people who deserve to be recognized for their good works when it comes to history and history preservation for Jacksonville, Florida. And you've brought the 2013 award winners to us again today, and I think we're going to go to that on the screen. I'll just keep an eye out when we do, and talk a little bit about the Preservation Awards and what they mean to Jacksonville. How many years have you done this now? Do you recall? Has it been
14, I think?
14 years of Preservation Awards, and now we have it up on the screen, so we'll get started with the awards.
All
if you'll
right. Well,
walk us through.
This year we started the award ceremony with a big announcement. Jacksonville has been designated a Preserve America community. This was a recognition that we sought as part of our a grant that we received to do last year's Restore Jacksonville conference, and we just got word on this, and so you can go to their website and see information on Jacksonville now. And this is just saying that Jacksonville is committed to protecting and celebrating our local heritage.
Well, congratulations, Jacksonville.
Yes.
I think I recall writing a letter to support that. And
I
Lisa,
believe
were
you
you the
did.
grant applicant on that?
Yes.
Well, thank you for doing that. You should have gotten an award. Well,
they you know, said thank you to me that night at our award ceremony. As far as our categories for awards, our first one is always Heritage Education. We have a couple of different types this year, starting with publications. The first one being the Cohen Brothers, the big store. As you know, the St. James Building just went through a birthday, 100 years. That's
yes.
right. And this was a very timely book that was put out. And the individuals that are involved.
And well-known people who wrote this, and we deeply appreciate preserving that history.
The next project was 50 years ago this week, which is a weekly article in the Financial News and Daily Record by Max Marbot. And he's basically just talking about what was happening in Jacksonville 50 years ago. And it can be very funny and offbeat, and still covering topics that we find, today, politics and downtown development.
Max is a walking history encyclopedia on Jacksonville. Congratulations to him.
Next category talked about exhibits, and our first one was Riverside Avondale Preservation and the Jacksonville Aviation Authority teamed together for an exhibit showcasing the historic district over there in Riverside Avondale in their Sky Gallery.
And anybody in the airport needs to take a look at this wonderful exhibit.
It's very cool.
And it's sort of back in a little bit of a corner, but it's fabulous.
And then the next exhibit is Jacksonville by Design. AIA celebrates 100 years of architecture, and this is at Mosh. And this was the local AIA and Mosh put this together, and it basically goes over 100 years of architecture in Jacksonville, and it's tied to local history and national events.
And by decades, it's very exciting. So get your children, go to the Museum of Science and History, and if you don't have children, this is a really great adult exhibit as well.
It is. I took my parents there, and my father walked away saying, well, Jacksonville's a really beautiful place, and I thought that was very cool.
The architects completed just a fabulous project for Mosh.
And this is a project that you'll be familiar with, an architectural masterpiece. The St. James Building celebrates 100 years. This is put on by the Jacksonville Historical Society to celebrate that big birthday, and I know the mayor spoke, and there was a presentation by Wayne Wood.
It was a fabulous event, and we were proud to offer that exhibit on that centennial anniversary. A big deal. So many people remember shopping at Cohen Brothers Department Store.
Absolutely.
And now here it is, our Prairie School style City Hall. Very proud.
The next category covered programs and tours. and started with front porch stories. In Mandarin, the Museum and Historical Society held a number of what they call front porch stories, kind of an oral history by Billy Bardwald, a local, and was basically open to the public, so everybody could hear great stories about Mandarin and his life, things that he had been involved with.
It was a wonderful series, and I have to add, just such a small place, Billy Barwald is actually the grandson of Morris Cohen. So one of the founders of or the principals of the local Cohen brothers, Billy, has given us fabulous stories about his life as a child in the toy department when the store was closed down on Sundays.
And he was recognized as part of your architectural
Yes, he was. Yet he's a
celebration.
Mandarin expert par excellence and just did a marvelous job for Mandarin Museum and Historical Society.
Great individual.
award.
The next one you'll also be familiar with, and that was Jax Pop Up History, and I think this is really fun. There have been 3 events, and I'm sure there are more to come, using social media to engage a new audience of history enthusiasts. And the first one was on a plane crash that occurred in Riverside, and the second one covered the brothels that used to be on Houston
We're
Street in
proud of
downtown.
that.
But it's an interesting history.
Yes, it
gets
was. We
people-
turned out a crowd.
Gets people thinking about things. And the last one was an area called Silvertown that happens to be right in the same site of Intuition Ale in Riverside.
Few people realize bringing back the brothels was a campaign platform that actually got a mayor once elected in Jacksonville, Florida. That's for another segment, another show.
And then the James Weldon Johnson Hometown Heritage Tour. This was put on by the City of Jacksonville along with some other people we'll see in the next slide. And this basically just celebrates the life and highlights this local significant African American.
That's beautiful images, Lisa.
And you have the Ritz Theater, the Public Library, Northwest Jacksonville Community Development Corporation, and of course our planning department.
And a real hometown hero, James Weldon Johnson.
The preservation project category, we started with San Marco by Design. This was a planning effort to better guide development in the historic San Marco neighborhood. And we had a number of people involved with that. And then the next one's kind of fun. It's a event that takes place in historic Springfield. And if you can think about American graffiti, one of the things that used to happen right here in Jacksonville on Main Street was, people would cruise that area. And our local individual, John Wells, wanted to bring that back, that popular weekend event from the 50s through the 70s. And it's really more beyond just an event for car enthusiasts. It's really been a catalyst for bringing people back to Main Street.
Okay, Lisa, I will admit, I grew up over there. I cruised.
See, I knew.
Actually, I depended on people to let me go with them to cruise.
So it's a great time. And then, of course, our clock is now back where it belongs in downtown. What a beautiful piece. And there was a big unveiling just a few weeks ago.
We need to do a whole segment just on the history of that clock. We will do that.
It's a great clock.
Fabulous.
And one of the
showpiece.
Yeah, there's not a lot that have the lights, from what I understand. You have places that have clocks, but I've never seen one as nice as the one that we have.
And that might be the last of that genre left with the lights, yes.
The next category covered 2 individuals, and the first one was Gloria Devall, and she has been very involved with really addressing addressing condemned structures in Springfield, and she's a founding member of Preservation SOS, and really has provided the boots on the ground to address issues. If there's a vacant structure that's open and accessible, she's kind of taken the lead to help board it.
A tough, demanding job by Gloria Devall.
And then the next one was for a mobile web application for Springfield. Like many things, there's an app for it. You can get more information on the local buildings by using this application, and if there's something, if you're seeing a need or something that needs to be addressed, you can put that in and Preservation SOS will respond. The next individual was Michael Lawson, and he's been involved with the documentation and preservation of our local cemeteries, an issue that was identified in a Blue Ribbon Commission on abandoned and neglected cemeteries.
I cannot say enough about Michael Lawson's work for Jacksonville, Florida. and what he's accomplished when it comes to documenting our local cemeteries. It's yeoman's work and well-deserved award.
And our next category is architecturally compatible new construction. We had 3710 Richmond Street. This was a design by David Case of Richard Skinner and Associates.
Beautiful.
Had beautiful architectural details.
And I see how it would fit so in that neighborhood seamlessly.
Yes. And then the residential rehabilitation category, all the rehabilitation categories, sometimes the pictures speak louder than words. The first one on Challen Street, and very modest structure, little farmhouse that was transformed into a historically beautiful and stylish home. Very creative in recycling. A lot of the materials, like old paneling, were reused in this project. That's by a local architect, Julia Sanford. Oak Street, again, a structure that was kind of an eyesore and was really transformed into a showpiece. And this caught the eye of a lot of the locals over in Riverside as it was being worked on.
That is a showpiece, beautiful. And the Larkin Group is responsible for that wonderful redesign. Well, not redesign, restoration, really, yes.
And the next one is 3665 Pine Street, and this is really kind of a neat story because we were getting calls on this building. People were concerned that somebody was going to want to tear this thing down. It was really in bad shape, and it was actually recently on the Riverside Avondale home tour, and the couple that got it had full intentions on restoring it as their personal residence.
Do you know what date that house holds? Just sort of curious to see it. When I see it, I just have to wonder, and I assume that it works so well with the fabric of the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. No, we were just happy to see that somebody wanted to restore it and did not want to pursue the demolition. And people were very surprised to hear that that was when they saw the before and afters on the home tour. Next category is commercial rehabilitation, and 1342 North Laura Street was one of them, and you can see that transformation as far as the exterior. This was a great example of how historic preservation and green technology can work together. And it's going to be on the Springfield home tour that you're going to hear more about in the next segment.
Oh, that's perfect. Let's stay with that just one moment. So, so when people stay with us for the next segment, they'll hear how they can see this beautiful facility June 1st or 2nd on the home tour.
That's right. You can go to the home tour and see it in person.
Wonderful.
And the owners couldn't talk enough about Dick Cheatwood, who was the contractor for the job. He did a fabulous job of making sure that both historic and green concerns were addressed in this rehabilitation. And our next rehabilitation was the Derby House in Riverside, and this has been an institution over there for many years, but had gotten in very bad shape, and the new owners did a beautiful job of restoring it and also expanding it into a little area next door so it has some outside seating. Just a great job.
Now I have to ask you, I'm going to ask a question.
Yes.
Have you eaten at the Derby House since they've restored it?
I have, and it's great. I used to go there for breakfast back before they did this, but now it's got wonderful dinners too.
And just so people know, it's right at 5 Points.
Yes.
So where those 5 streets.
You can't miss it if you're in 5 Points.
and of course I've been there, and I went at the wrong time, but people have raved about their experience there. It's just so much fun to see it.
It's a fun space.
Beautiful, beautiful restoration.
The next one is 2111 Liberty Street, and this is an Albert Kahn building that was constructed for the Chevrolet Parts Depot, and it was recently restored for the Paul Davis Restoration Company. And this is a company that actually goes in after a fire and secures the building and takes care of all of your personal items. They work with insurance companies, and they use the whole building. It's just a great example of the reuse of a structure in Springfield.
And I'd like to mention that is in Springfield.
Yes.
Yeah, and you just said it as I wanted to mention it. It runs right into it. Great
And the
save.
last one, the Great Save category, this is one that we don't have every year. But this year we have the historic St. Paul's by the Sea Episcopal and Beaches Museum Chapel. And this had been moved a number of times, as I understand it.
I think 4 altogether.
And more recently, the space that it was in, I think they were looking at it for possibly a gym, and so they offered it up to the Beaches
Historical Society,
Thank you.
Beaches Area Historical Society, Beaches. Beaches History Center and Historical Society, I think. They've kind of nipped
Well,
and
it'll
tucked
show
their
in the
name.
next slide.
Yes, it'll show. That's
But
right.
here's the church or the chapel being relocated. It was quite the event. What I understand,
Yes.
it's kind of almost a parade of sorts. This new move to its newest location, and it has also been restored on top of being moved. So this was a very good, great save as far as seeing that church reused and relocated, so more people can enjoy it.
It's in their history part, the museum's history part.
Yes, and it'll be open or available to the public for use.
It's
as I
amazing
understand
because
it.
you'll see it with the Flagler yellow building and the train. It's a phenomenal history park, and I salute the Beaches Historical Society for putting all of that together. Beaches Area Historical Society, Inc.
There you go.
Okay.
And that is our awards. This is just our list of commissioners that were involved.
So we're almost at the end of this segment, and people can stay tuned to hear about the Springfield home tour. But before we go, if someone thinks they are aware of a project that needs to be nominated, simply get in touch with you.
Yes, we actually have a link on our website. If you go to the coj.net site, and the easiest way is to go to the site index and look up historic preservation, and one of the sidebar options will be our preservation awards. And this year we actually have a version of this PowerPoint that you can look through, and a listing of all of the individuals from the program that evening. And it's got the nomination form on there. We will accept them. There's a deadline of March 1st. So we actually have a call for nominations in February, but we'll take them at any point for consideration in 2014.
Great, and people have plenty of time to do that. And Lisa Sheppard, I want to thank you for bringing an impressive list of award-winning history projects to us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And if everyone will stay tuned, we'll be right back and hear more about the Springfield home tour June 1st and 2nd.